Okay, now that we have the first quadrant filled out, let's move to quadrant 2. And like I said, the only thing that's going to change as far as the ordered pairs will be just the signs. Okay, let's go ahead and fill out what the angle measures are. So if I start here, this was 90. Then we have 120, 135, 150, 180. The radian equivalent, I think if we count around, let's start with pi over 6. 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, 3 pi over 6, 4 pi over 6, and that reduces to 2 pi over 3. Okay, 4 pi over 6, then this would be 5 pi over 6. And let's go ahead and continue with that so we don't have to go back to those. So if this is 5 pi over 6, this would be 6 pi over 6, which is just pi. 7 pi over 6. Not here, but here would be 8 pi over 6, and that's going to reduce to 4 pi over 3. 9 pi over 6 is going to reduce to 3 pi over 2. 10 pi over 6 is going to reduce to 5 pi over 3. 11 pi over 6, it's not going to reduce. And then we're back at 12 pi over 6, which is just 2 pi. Okay, so that takes care of our multiples of pi over 6. Let's look at the multiples of pi over 4. Okay, again, from 0, here would be 1 pi over 4. 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4. That's the equivalent of 135 degrees. 4 pi over 4 already reduces to pi. 5 pi over 4, it's not going to reduce. 6 pi over 4 reduces to 3 halves pi. 7 pi over 4. And then back at 8 pi, or 8 pi over 4, which would be 2 pi. Okay, so all of our quadrants should have the radian measure completed. Let's go back and look at quadrant 2. If I want to get the values of these ordered pairs, again, if this is 120, I can use my 30, 60, 90 triangle to match up my 60-degree angle here, because that would give me a total of 180 from 120 plus 60. So what's the x value of this point? The short side. Okay, so 1/2 square root of 3 over 2 would be the y, but what sign would they have? Okay, if I'm in the second quadrant, all of my x values are going to be negative, so negative 1/2 positive square root of 3 over 2. And that will always be the value of that point. Negative 1/2 positive square root of 3 over 2. Let's do the same thing here. If we flip our triangle around for 5 pi over 6, or 150 degrees, what is the x value of the point? Negative square root of 3 over 2 positive 1/2. Okay, then we use our 45, 45, 90 for 3 pi over 4. For all of your multiples of pi over 4, the values are always going to be square root of 2 over 2, it's just whether or not it's positive. So the x value again would be negative square root of 2 over 2, and the y value would be square root of 2 over 2. Okay, so you can compare that to what we had in the first quadrant and see how the values are the same. Like for example, with the 60 and the 120 degree, the values are the same, except here in the second quadrant the x values are negative. Okay, but the y values are positive. My point value here at pi would be negative 1, 0. Okay, then we move down to the third quadrant. If I have at 7 pi over 6, that's going to be 210 degrees. 5 pi over 4 is going to be 225 degrees. And 4/3 pi would be 240 degrees. Again, my values are going to be the same. Let's see if we can do it without the triangle. Okay, imagine your 30, 60, 90 triangle right here. The length of the long side and then the length of the short side. So the long side would be negative square root of 3 over 2. Short side would be 1/2, but it will also be negative. Okay, think about the third quadrant. Negative x, negative y to be in the third quadrant. So it's the same values that we had up here for 150 degrees, just the y value is negative now. And then for 225 degrees, we would think about the 45, 45, 90 triangle, because this is a 45-degree angle here. The point would be negative square root of 2 over 2, negative square root of 2 over 2. The length of the side would be square root of 2 over 2, and this side. Okay, then for 240 degrees, let's look at our triangle here if we want to put it in. The x value would be the short side, so negative 1/2. The y value would be the long side, negative square root of 3 over 2. Okay, and that takes care of the third quadrant.